I want to give you a little bit of background on this, ladies and gentlemen, business owners, my fellow citizens, and also my family and friends. The American National Standards Institute and the American National Crediting Board founded the International Accreditation Forum Incorporated in Delaware. The IAF has a sister organization in Australia called the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, and there's another organization that they formulated called GLOBAC, G-L-O-B-A-C, which is off for another thing, Global Accreditation Cooperation. That's for another video, but this is very important. We want to focus in on the IAF and ILAC. The International Accreditation Forum and the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation are associations of accreditation bodies, both national and international, which are equivalent to ANSI-ANAB. Just remember this because I'm going to get into this in the video. They are equivalent to ANSI-ANAB, who are also underwriters for the IAF and ILAC. Means any type of systematic failure or product failure, ANSI and ANAB are the ones to go after legally. Boeing, ANSI-ANAB, the biggest quality fraud ever. How honest companies were tricked by Daryl Guberman, recognized quality expert and Boeing shareholder. Hello, my name is Daryl Guberman. I've spent over 40 years working in aerospace, medical implants, and manufacturing, making sure products are safe, clean, and truly quality. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to protect you and show you the truth behind the biggest industrial scam in history. For those of you who own machining centers that supply parts into these aerospace companies, and also for the passengers who I stood up April 17th, 2024, in the support of Sam Salapar. I wasn't invited. I got up because it was a godly moment. I felt something other than myself compel me to get up and show how Boeing gave up on-site auditing at their suppliers for 22 years. And they also gave up AS9100 for 22 years. The big problem, the fake system. When I started my consulting business in 2011, I saw something wrong. Big groups, ANSI, ANAB, and giant companies like Boeing were running a system that looked official, but was really a trick. They told smaller companies, you must buy this quality certification or you can't work with us. So thousands of companies paid millions of dollars to get certified. Here's the shocking truth and part. Boeing demanded that everyone else be certified, but wasn't itself for 22 years from 2002 to 2024. Does that get to you, ladies and gentlemen? Example, the dirty car wash. Imagine a car wash boss who tells everyone else who runs a car wash, you must keep your soap tanks spotless before washing cars. Everyone else spends money on new equipment to meet the rule. But that same boss hasn't cleaned his own tanks in 22 years, still washing cars with muddy water and calling it clean. That's exactly what Boeing did. They told suppliers to be clean, AS9100 certified, while their own system stayed dirty, not certified. Boeing's inspectors, a hidden trick. And this goes to you, Richard, and others who were source inspectors for some companies, because by Boeing doing this, your certification was terrible. It wasn't certified. And they gave you that impression that you were doing something good. Now we're going to tell you this. Boeing didn't always send their inspectors. Instead, they told supplier companies, pick one of your employees and make them a Boeing inspector. Here's what that really meant. That person still worked for your company, not Boeing, and they were getting your salary, their salary from your company. Whenever they signed off on work, it looked official, but it wasn't, because Boeing itself was an AS9100 certified. And if your company ever received a Boeing audit, that audit was also a fraud, because Boeing had no valid certification to enforce the rules. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen, business owners. How can someone be a Boeing inspector if Boeing's own quality system wasn't certified? It's like a kid being a police officer for a day when the police department itself lost its license. That might have a shiny badge, but the badge means nothing. Here's the hard truth. You may have earned your certificate fairly, but your registrar and accreditation body, the American National Standards Institute and the American National Crediting Board, never told you it was a fraud. Think about that. In simple terms, Boeing tricked your company into following rules that Boeing itself ignored. And the official certification system let it happen, the core of the truth. For 22 years, Boeing sat on ANSI-ANAB's Management Accreditation Committee, which can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. But how could they do that? They weren't even AS9100. They're going to tell your company if you're good or not. They're going to grant, suspend, or withdraw certification? What kind of crap is that? While Boeing sat at the top, they were not certified themselves for 22 years. They demanded certification from your company. They controlled the rules and audits that destroyed the credibility of every certificate under that system. ISO 9001, AS 9100, ISO 1345, and every other derivative that is ANSI-ANAB accredited or its international equivalents that sit on IAF and ILAC are a fraud, ladies and gentlemen, and we're telling you it's the truth. I know you're scratching your head, but hold on. Let me be crystal clear, may I? If Boeing wasn't certified but controlled the certification system, then every certification in that system is tainted. It's not official. It's a fraud, whether in aerospace, medical, and so many other industries. This isn't just about Boeing. It affects AS9100 certified companies, ISO 9001, ISO 1345, as I told you, in other quality systems, companies across Europe, Asia, South America, and Africa. The whole quality certification web, ANSI-ANAB, and their international equivalents that fall under the IF and ILAC and others got infected by this broken system, and Boeing started it all, and so did ANSI-ANAB. Your certification is not valuable. You may have earned it the right way, but the system above you was built on false promises, a mirage, paper mache. You followed the rules, they broke them, and now it's time to make the truth known. Simple systems for your company, simple steps. Learn the truth. Boeing, ANSI-ANAB, IF, ILAC broke trust. See the damage. Their actions made your certificate invalid and a fraud, a certificate mill. Your registrar was a certificate mill with you. Don't you understand that? Hold on. Stand up. You can fight to restore real quality and integrity, but you can't fight by yourself. Get me. I will be your ticket. This is the largest industrial fraud in history. For 22 years, listen to that, 22 years, Boeing sat at the top of the system while refusing to meet the same standards it demanded from you. This poisoned every certification that's out there. If you pay for your next audit without understanding you're paying into a fraudulent system, save your $2,000, $3,000, $6,000. It's a fraud, and Boeing is the biggest part of that, and ANSI-ANAB is. Also, the IAF and ILAC, UKAS, Accredia, and all these other foreign accreditation bodies that sit under there, they're a fraudulent organization, along with the IAQG, the International Aerospace Quality Group, where Airbus is, for God's sake, man, and Boeing and Lockheed. They perpetrated a fraud on you while they're drinking their coffee, their champagne, and going on the golf course. Together, ladies and gentlemen, we can stop this. We can bring back real quality, real honesty, and real accountability. I am Daryl Guberman, recognized quality expert and Boeing shareholder. I don't fuck around, and I can say that because our president said that about Hamas and Israel. His Deputy Secretary of Defense in 2017, Patrick Shanahan, who, for God's sake, he's the CEO of Spirit Aerospace Systems, supplying 50% to Airbus and 50% to Boeing. And they're all ANAB accredited. What the hell is that? He said, well, the F-35 is fucked up in 2017. I promise you this, ladies and gentlemen, business owners. We will make your hard work count for what it's truly worth. My name is Daryl Guberman. Always remember this. David Foster Wallace said this, and I live by it. I adapted it for me. The truth will set you free, but not until Daryl Guberman is finished with you. You have to contact me, 203-556-1493. If you pay $2 or $3 or whatever, $1,000 for the next audit, you're going to fuck yourself. And I thank you.